It's time to play Baritone Ukulele. I'm going to go post our link for today's activity, today's broadcast, over on our website, jollyrogerukulele.com. Post the links up at the top of the page. The resources you need are, you scroll down the page and you will find them underneath the giant baritone ukulele that I had intended to replace with something more compact, but have not gotten around to it yet. Have a busy day today. We had a lot of material this week to get through, and we'll see how everybody's doing on that. Update. Update. All right, we're posted. We'll have a few people coming in just a minute, and they'll assure me that the sound is good. It's always a bit of a challenge to make sure that the sound is going the way I'm hoping it's going. Let me also print out Canadian baritone. Baritone ukulele of fifths. I'm going to print one of those. Print. And then I'm going to go to, let's make sure that the link is working properly. I'm a teeny tiny bit early. People are used to me logging in a couple minutes late. So we'll get them in here. We're certainly not going to get them in with that photo. Let's see, what else we got going on here? So we're going to be doing the circle of fifths. I'm going to be doing Alouetta after the ball, playing our Make a Better Bar Friday worksheet. We're going to be playing Frere Jacques. We're going to be strumming in the key of A. We're going to be doing some major scales, doing a little strumming in the key of C. It's all going to be fabuloso. All right. Maybe the baritone players took today off. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're all here, right? And we're going to make this happen. Okay, baritone's working. Whew. All right. There we go. All right. How come nobody's here? Just you and me, right? That's it? Okay, let's figure this out. Did I do something wrong? Let's see. Baritone ukulele, 2 p.m. Click. Now opens up to this. We're supposed to. All right. Huh. All right. Well, here we go. Oh wait, we got 2 minutes. We don't start till 2:05. We got 3 minutes. Fast forward. All right. Hey Terry, welcome in. Yeah, that does have a very nice tone on it. It's 1970s vintage Italian baritone ukulele. Many things I love about it. It's by far, in my mind, by far the prettiest body I've ever seen on any baritone. I mean, it's just the wood is this deep, rich. Remember back in the 70s, everybody had wood paneling in their house. Reminds me of that a little bit. It's absolutely a beautiful ukulele. And I have such a mixed relationship with these cheapy plastic tuners. I'm eventually going to change this out for some decent tuners on here. But then, of course, the nice part is these are so light, it's very, very easy to just move this thing around, but it's also a pain in the butt to tune. But the other thing I love about it is you can't really tell in the video here, but this has this very, very thin neck right up in here. The whole thing all the way down is very thin. And so it's just quite, it's quite delightful to play. It's the kind of neck that if I ever decide that I will build myself something, it's going to have this kind of neck on it. I really love it. Let's see. Hey, Vic. Oh, I sound dreamy. Well, I got in early and nobody was here. I'm like, well, maybe they're not coming today. So I started playing. Not nobody. There was one person there. I don't know who it was. Wouldn't say it. I got a flea in here. I'm trying to participate in the activity. And yeah, the sound, it just has a really nice sustain to it. And I have a tendency to sort of grab onto my instruments like this. If I wouldn't do that, I would speak out a little bit more. Happy Friday to you, Diane. In baritone class, will you talk about using guitar tabs? Yeah, we can do that. I don't think there's really that much to talk about, honestly, Vic. When I think about it, you're just not going to play those top two lines, and not all guitar tabs will work, but most of them, if you just ignore those bottom two lines on the tab, you can play till your heart's content. In guitar arrangements, not all guitar arrangements, but most guitar arrangements, the guitar is really split into two instruments. The bottom four strings are for melody, and the upper two strings are for bass and to fill out your chord. And so one of the things that's fascinating when you look at classical guitar, it is so normal for everything important to be played on those three plastic strings, and all of the accompaniment to be played on the metal strings is a very normal way to arrange for guitar. So as a baritone player, you're set, man. These notes up here, yeah, they make it sound prettier, but they are not necessary. And so really, just grab some guitar tablature. I mean, you can go over to my website, denverguitarorchestra.com, grab those sheet musics, go pick one. And there's a handful of times when a melody note will end up on the fifth string, but almost never. And so, yeah, you could just go grab them. Just ignore those bottom two strings. They're just not there. You don't have them, but your tuning is identical, so you can play from them. You can also play from ukulele tabs as long as you're not playing with the ukulele player. So all of those songs that we've worked on in ukulele, you can just play them straight up on here using the tablature. You can't read the sheet music. The standard notation is wrong, but the tablature will let you play. You're just playing in a different key. So I would say if I had the choice on baritone, I would almost always go with the ukulele tab instead of the guitar tab, just because it's less likely to be information on there that just confuses my noggin. But I think it's absolutely fine for you to play guitar tabs. Just don't use those bottom two strings. I just feel like there's a lot of opportunity for error there. Whereas if you're just using the ukulele tabs, you're just playing in a different key. And so like we just finished with Harry Potter in ukulele, you can play it on this. It'll sound amazing, sound really good. Just use the tabs. So yeah, the guitar tabs that I find laying around on the internet pretty typically are pretty terrible. Not always. I've had a handful of them. The problem is that when guys sit down and they write out the tab, they're trying to make it as complicated and as fancy as possible because they want to prove how smart they are. And so you tend to get guitar tabs that are really, really hard to play. And I just don't I have a different opinion about that. I'm like, put on the tabs just what you need to get the song out, and then let the performer add in all their fancy stuff. And so I'd say, if you're wandering the internet and grab some tablature, take it with a grain of salt, see, give it a try, see if it's going to work for you. But I would say, in terms of, for sure, it'll almost 100% work on baritone. You can go to the Denver Guitar Orchestra and get those song sheets, and they'll work just fine for you. So, well, maybe I think that's the whole discussion. Cindy, welcome in. Michelina, howdy, howdy. Lanny, good afternoon. BOD, pound, pound, X. What does that mean? Something the last couple of days. You were busy. Busy is all get out, I think is what that stands for. I don't know what that means, Lanny, but it doesn't sound good. Glad you're here. Let's play. Let's play some music. So today, let's start with your Make It Better bar worksheet. And I'm going to scroll down to the baritone stuff. It's driving me crazy, this baritone picture that I took of this instrument. I had to edit out underneath there was some stuff in the background, and I edited it out. And because the baritone picture is so giant on the website, you can absolutely see where I did a bad job of editing on that photo. All right, Make a Better bar worksheet. This is our one where going down the fretboard, we're going to do thumb, index, middle, ring. And then coming back, we're going to do ring, middle, index, thumb. Let's do that. We'll start with 0 and see how beautiful. Try to get every tone perfect and every tone exactly evenly spaced. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 7, 'Isn't that a very zen, peaceful activity? Like I like to start with that one just whenever if I tune up a ukulele, especially like around here in the shop when I'll change strings on somebody's ukulele, I get it tuned up. I like to just do that. Just do that exact thing. Just very peaceful. It gives you a chance to sort of fall into another place. And meanwhile, you're really just staying focused in on perfect form, perfect sound quality, and it'll make you better. I need for you to grab 2 pieces of paper. I need you to grab your Alouetta and your circle of fifths. We're going to talk about both of those very quickly because we're going to play. Where'd my tuner go? Hit the ground and went flying. I've learned I have to pick those up when they hit the ground, otherwise I step on them later. All right. Board of directors. Oh, board of directors. Oh, now I understand. Sorry, Lanny. You're still a good person. Yeah, board of directors. Lanny is involved in. He's on his board at his condo association too, and I haven't read enough comic books. Sorry. Diane knew what he meant. All right. So you got this, and you got your Alouetta. Get your Alouetta out. On Alouetta, we are playing in a certain key, right? And we're going to learn how to transpose that key. And the process that we're going to use on this is identical to what you would do for Bohemian Rhapsody or whatever. The 2 keys that you have on your paper are C and G7. Okay, so when you look at your circle of fifths, you say, all right, the main chord is a C. Clunk, 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 clunk. That's where your C is. Okay, and that man, his buddy that is hanging out with him is G7, and your G is right here. Okay, now you have the fingerings for the seventh chords down here. Unlike the ukulele one where I put them all in there and I have been trying to explain those to new people forever, I just moved the seventh chords down here. But if your main chord is C and you're playing a whole bunch of G's or G7s, those are interchangeable when they're in its buddy, that's the relationship with the main chord and the chord to the right. Okay, so if I need to transpose this song, let's pretend that I don't like playing it in C. And on baritone, we don't like playing in C, right? So let's pretend that I want to play it in A. Okay, I want to play it in A instead of C. And then instead of a G chord, I'm now going to be playing an E chord, but it's an E7. So I have to run down here and grab my E7, which is right here. And you guys know that chord, right? So that's the chord. So when we play Alouetta, every time it says C, I want you to play A. And every time it says G7, I want you to play E7. And we will have transposed the song. Okay? So A chord, index, middle, ring, to E7, and back. 1, 2, ready, play. Alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, jante plumarée, jante plumarée la tête, jante plumarée la tête, et la tête, et la tête, alouette, alouette, oh, alouette, jante alouette, alouette, jante plumarée. Okay, so now we've played it in A instead of C, which is a much better baritone key, right? We're much better. Let's say we want to play it in the best baritone key. Let's say we want to play it in G. Okay, so if the main chord's G, the relationship has to stay the same between the chords on the circle. And so we're going to, instead of playing G7, we're going to slide over and we're going to play D. Okay, so G, we're now going to play D since it's the one pi piece to the right. And then it's obviously instead of this D chord, we're going to play the D7 down here, right there. Okay, so that's what you're going to be playing now instead. So what we're playing is G and D7, G and D7. Every time there's a C, we're going to play G. Every time there's a G7, we're going to play a D7. Okay. Yay! Glad you made it in, Valerie. Lost track of time. She's in there cramming her lunch in her face. Is probably what she's doing. Why the 7 instead of normal? So great question. Let me give you an example. If for what we're about to play, let's say we're going to play G is our main chord and D7 is what we're going to play, and then back. If you can always, if it's a seventh, play it normal. However, you can't always play a seventh when it's supposed to be normal. Okay, so what happens in music is we like to have tension, resolution, tension, resolution, tension, resolution. And in most songs, we use a seventh chord to create greater tension. So if I play this with a seventh chord, alouette, gentille alouette, you can hear it. Okay, there's a lot of tension to resolve. However, if I use a regular D, it'll still sound fine. It just won't have quite as much tension. Alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, jante plumarée. So listen to it. It doesn't have near the kind of tension that this has. Okay, so seventh chords create tensions. The rules in music are such that seventh chords are always, almost always going to need to resolve into the main idea of the song. So it's not uncommon for, like in Tin Pan Alley, for there to be lots of different seventh chords in there, but the last seventh chord will show up and it will resolve to the main chord in the song. Okay. So it's a great question. Why the seventh instead of normal? It just creates additional tension. Seventh chords create additional tensions, and the rules are such that when you have a seventh chord, there's only a couple of places it can go, and the main place it goes is to resolving back to the main chord of the song. Okay, so that's what we got. That's why seventh chords. And seventh chords, actually, it's interesting when you look at a song. We always think, oh, you can tell what key it's in. Not always. A lot of times you can sit and study a song, and you're like, I don't even know what key we're in, because the music is so sophisticated. So when that happens, you start looking for seventh chords, because those seventh chords are going to give you a pretty good indication where's the resolution of the piece going to. Okay. Now we want to take this and finish it. Yeah, it's kind of cool. um, Remember, in music, it's really a storytelling activity. I know sometimes we forget that, but it's really about creating this story that goes along. Sometimes it has an emotional content, sometimes it's silly, sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it's whatever. And seventh chords are something that help us. If you're playing a G chord instead or a G7, right, there's that needs to resolve. Okay. The other way we work on telling stories is happy tones and sad tones and seventh tones. So all of those are D chords, but they all have a little bit of spice and flavor to them that lead you in one direction or another. So the chord choices that you see are usually set up mathematically, like that's what it goes there. But because you do have choices as a composer, sometimes you'll throw in chords that don't necessarily belong there, and it creates, a different kind of a story. We were going to play G chord, and then we want to go to the D7 and come back to the G chord. 1, 2, ready, play. Alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, gentille plumarée. Jante plumarée la tête, jante plumarée la tête, et la tête, et la tête. Alouette, alouette, oh, 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 oh. Alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, gentille plumarée. Okay, so now we've taken C and G7, we've transposed them a couple of times. Why do we transpose? Usually because the singer doesn't like where their voice is going inside the song. You can get really great singers and then go super low and super high, but they're never exactly positive how their voice is going to work on any given song within that range. And so some keys are more comfortable for singers than others. That's why why you transpose. The other reason you'll transpose is when you guys sit down and you start thinking, I'm sick of Gary, I'm going to start doing my own arrangements. You'll need to have a basic understanding of what will fit on the instrument and what won't. And so some keys fit onto baritone better than others, and it depends on the song. It depends on what the lowest note is, what the highest note is, which ones fit onto the instrument, and where they fit on. It's very normal for me to fit something perfectly. It drops it onto ukulele, no problem. Then I go to put it on baritone, and it doesn't do the same things, and because it's a different key, and so you'll end up running off the bottom or end up going way too high on the top. And so it's the tragedy of my life as a multi-instrumentalist, trying to constantly have to adjust songs to fit into the lane that we're trying to get them into. Now let's play the original key of C. Remember, this is where ukulele players live, is where baritone players have to live, because you're going to be playing C. Play part of it with your plucks, play part of it with your strums, whichever part. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, gentille plumarée, gentille plumarée la tête, gentille plumarée la tête, et la tête, Alouette, alouette, alouette. Oh, 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 go. Alouette, chante alouette, alouette, chante pluma. Okay. All right. There's a lot of different ways to play it. The big takeaway from that is, hey, transposing is just as simple as figuring out the relationship of your chords on the circle of fifths, and then rotating the circle of fifths and making sure all the chords maintain their same relationship on those pieces of pies. Okay. Next thing is melody. Guys, if you are newer, and this is where important stuff, so let's see how you do. Remember, you have one pinky note up here on 5. Otherwise, everything's 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty little song, really. Okay, if you've been around a while, you know about Tough Uke. Let's go ahead and toss one of those out real quick. If you're brand new, you don't worry about this yet. Okay, we're going to combine the chords and the melody together. Play it a little bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a little fancy ending on there. Okay, so Tough Uke, not a brutal song in terms of Tough Uke, but plenty of activity, right? Where you see me moving her all up and down around the fretboard, combining chord, taking the melody, sticking them together, and then figuring out what alterations you need to make on your left hand, and then just being mindful of that you're hitting the correct strings with your right hand, and you end up with a real pretty little tune. Let's very quickly run through After the Ball. And that is our number one song of the week. Number one song in 1891, smash hit, 5 million copies, according to Wikipedia, sold, which by today's standards would be 400 million. I don't know, it'd be a lot. But he only sold it through sheet music, right? There were no recordings back then. All right. These days, you just download the sheet music. $5. After the ball, I'm going to sing. Close your ears. Give me your chords and see how we're doing. 1, 2, 3. After the ball is over, after the break of dawn, after the dancers leaving, after theoretically repeat and play it a second time, but you got the idea. Just doing a chord check when you're brand new, that's a lot. There's a whole lot of chords in that one piece of music. When you've been around a while, hopefully those are part of who you are and they're making some sense. Really just trying to keep my beat steady with 3 beats per measure. And again, with strumming and anything you do on your right hand, you can do all sorts of fancy stuff over here, but it's got to stay in the correct rhythm. So you've got to make sure that you got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And not to belabor Michelina's question, but you see all the seventh chords in here, and they're going all over the place. You've got a G7, there it is at measure 7, and it resolves into a D minor. It doesn't really resolve, it just goes to a different spot. Then you have a G7 in measures 13 and 14, and those are going to resolve to measure 15, which is, that feels like a resolution, right? When you get to 21, you have this A7, which goes to this A7, which turns into this D7, kind of resolves, and then it turns into G7, kind of resolves, and then it hits the C, and it really resolves. So the seventh chords on this song are actually sort of fascinating to watch how they push it, push it, push it, push it, and it's not actually an accident how it's pushing it, because it's very normal for a G to in the G major resolves to a D. Well, in this case, he takes a G7, moves it to a D minor, so they kind of get along. A7, its fourth is a D, so he takes A7 and moves it to a D minor. And so all of that stuff is happening to kind of push the music along a little bit until we finally get to a G7, which will be followed by a C eventually. This flea is flying all around right in my face. It will eventually come to this point, and maybe I ought to take the trash out. Maybe that would not be a bad idea, right? I'm trying to remember the last time I took the trash out. When you get to that G7, toward the end, it will end up on C to finish up the song. Secret decoder ring. Yeah, right. It's the mathematics behind music, and it's very, very predictable, and that's why when you see a song that surprises you, they've taken and kind of broke those rules and pushed music in a different direction. Jazz follows the exact same rules, but they add an extra note into their chords, so they have at least 4-note chords, which creates a much more complex possibilities of resolutions that go through that. And then, of course, in contemporary music, they don't follow any rules. But for most music, I mean, it's music that you're going to listen to that's easy to get along with. That's what's going on underneath there. Very specific mathematics that everybody, that our ears. If you don't follow those mathematical rules, your ears rebel, and you're like, "What in the heck is going on?" All right, let's play the melody from the top. 1, 2, 3. Well, this is in 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3, and then repeat. Okay. By the way, this is your secret decoder ring. I don't know if I've made that clear. That circle of fifths is the decoder ring. It really is. It really is an amazing piece of awesomeness. And I wish I'd have thought it up, but music thought it up for itself. All right, Tough Uke, you ready? Let's see how you do. Just for those of you guys who've been around a while, those of you who are newer, this isn't for you. Just one time through. 1, 2, 3. fat chord F on the end, C chord. Okay, lovely. Those of you guys looking to make baritone a thing, stuff like this is amazing, right? Most people these days don't remember this song. And so you go and you sit down, not terribly hard to play, definitely not beginner material by any means, but not super crazy difficult. And you play something like that with somebody sitting around there, they're going to look over and go, boy, that sounds really nice, you know, and they think that it's the instrument or something, but it's really you just putting together some smart pieces of the stuff you've been learning, putting it together, having this really gorgeous song. Nobody would object to listening to that, and they'd be like, "Man, that sounds really nice. You're doing really good." Play me something else. I've never actually heard that phrase. Play me something else. And that day's coming. All right, after the ball Alouette, those are your next level tunes. Book 2. Let's go to Frere Jacques. Those of you guys that are newer, this is the most important piece of music I teach, and so grab that. When you are looking at the foundations of music, Frere Jacques, this piece of paper has everything you're going to need to know, with the exception of that nowhere on here do you switch a chord. And so we'll have to do that. And there's and we don't combine the chords and the melody on this piece of paper. So that's the other thing that you will have to dig into with you. But everything else in music is right here: tempo, chords, melody, lyrics, keys, treble clefs, tablature, all sorts of just really foundational material. And those of you guys that are in love with this instrument and you're going to want to share it with somebody, first of all, these are incredibly inexpensive, right? $250 for a pretty good one, $350 for a top of the line one. Everything beyond that, you're just buying the name or, you know, doodly doos on here. You get one for your friend and sit them down and say, you're going to learn how to play this thing. And we're going to start with, Gary says you have to start with Frere Jacques, and Gary knows. Okay. Let's play the chord, E chord, index finger here, middle finger here. Okay, nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Okay, 4 beats per each measure. I did a fancy little one on the ding, dang, dongs just to be silly, but the idea is 4 beats every single measure, no matter what. Don't don't try to strum with the music. Just strum 4 beats in every measure. The music will take care of itself. Okay, let's play the melody, nice and slow. This is for those of you who are brand new. This is the important stuff. Let's see how you do. From the top, just the baritone melody line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 2, 4, 0, 2, 4, 0, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0. First string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string. Isn't that lovely? Okay, that's the important stuff right there, is being able to play a melody from tablature. And you can read the standard notation if you want to give yourself a much more involved project, but you are never going to have to read from standard notation. Tablature will take care of you for everything you need to do on the baritone. Frere Jacques, beautiful piece of music. If you teach somebody, start with that. All right, grab your strumming in the key of A book. That's the little booklet, okay? And you will pick a song for me. I leave it open to you. Which song do you want to do out of there? Pick one with a blue headline or a green headline, I would guess. Trying to remember what we played earlier today, but just pick a song. First person who types something in, you get the choice. Okay, so we'll sit and patiently wait for you to pick a song out of the little book. Pick a good one. And of course, if you don't pick, I pick. You Are My Sunshine. Let's do it. Okay. Page number should be toward the end, right? You Are My Sunshine. Oh, it's on the back page, page 16. Okay. Love this tune. In harmonica, we play this every single day. That's how good. That's how much I like this song. And remember, you've got your E chord. I'm sorry, A chord. Okay, that's this guy. You have your D chord. You have your E7. Okay, so the nice part is about page 16, it faces page 1, and then you can see your chords there. So excellent choice, Vic. We'll go nice and slow. I would say the hardest part is getting your A chord on. Hopefully D chord starting to come together for you. And E7, of course, is the easiest of the three. 1, 2, ready, play. Well, it's a 3. I forget. Sunshine is beat number 1. So I'm going to count in. I'm just going to start singing. You are my, and then you come in. Sunshine. Okay, let's do that. Ready? You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I'll always love you and be there for you. I will protect you and keep you safe. You are my dream, dear. You are my sunshine. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken, and I hung my head and I cried. Put a little oomph and a little bit of mustard on it as we got further down through there. Speed it up a little bit, do a little bit fancier, messing around with my right hand. You should be doing the same thing. And that's very typical when you go to a strum along, that they'll just hand out the chords and the song sheet, and it'll have the chords and the words on there. Most of the time you're at a ukulele strum along and they'll have the chord shapes for the baritone. Won't be there. You'll have to convert them because on their chord shapes, their A is your E, right? And so you have to know how to convert those. You have to be the one that will adapt because they're not going to do anything for you. I know, because I know when I'm putting stuff together, it takes twice as much work to do the baritone stuff because it's just it's a lot more work, baritone, and so you guys have to be smarter than those guys. All right, so A chord, D chord, and E7 are the big takeaways from that little book. And I got to rush this along because I want to finish up the last few things. Will you also then pull us up your baritone major scales paper? By the way, this weekend, play through everything in that little book. Play through everything. Make sure you know every single song in there. And if you don't know the song, go look it up. And if you can't find it, send me an email. And if you can't, and if I don't respond to your email, go to the website and listen to it on the website. on the MP3s. I want you. Well, actually, I don't have MP3s for that there. Never mind. But do go through and play those as many of those songs as you want. It's really a fun thing to do to get where you really know what's in that book. There's a lot of really solid music in that thing. Let's play a G scale first. That's your top scale, 02, 013, 023. Again, if you are new, this is part of what I want you to be able to do. From the top, we'll go to the top note, 3, and then we'll turn right around and come right back down. So key of G scale, 1, 2, 3, 4. O, 2, O, 1, 3, O, 2, 3. Come back down. 2, O, 3, 1, O, 2, O. Let's go to the next scale, key of D scale. That's on the 4th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. O, 2, 2, 2, 4, 2, O, 2, 2, 2, O, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, O, 2, O, 4 reds, 2 reds. Oh, I messed it up. I want to do it again. Ready, play. O, 2, 4, O, 2, O, 2, 3. Turn around. 2, O, 2, O, 4, 2, O. And then finally, key of C scale. Remember, you're going to slide up to 5th position. 1, 2, ready, play. C, 2, 3, 2, O, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 5, 2, 7, 2, 8, 7, 5, 3, 1, O, 3, 1. Okay. So I've killed G scale, D scale, and C scale. I both messed up on. So I would have to go back and redo them again, make sure and get better at them. All right, last thing I want to do, I want to play Kookaburra from your key of C strummers. So grab your key of C strummers, please. We're going to finish up with Kookaburra today. By the way, you have Kookaburra both in the A book and in the C book, or it's not really a book, 2 pages. So you can play Kookaburra using both sets of chords, and it'll just help expand your comfort level with those chords, and just give you an opportunity to play the same song in 2 different keys and find out maybe which one fits your voice a little better. Some of you are never going to sing a note, and that's fine, but you do need to hum a note so that you can find out how it affects the singers that you're going to be working with. All right, from the top, Kookaburra is. I love this song. By the way, I think the greatest line ever written in music is in this song. Stop Kookaburra, stop Kookaburra. That's not a monkey, that's me. That is one of my favorite lines in the history of music. All right, I'll do the intro. And I'm going to remember I'm playing baritone and not ukulele. And I'm going to try to hit all the chords correct. 1. All right, let me give you the intro. Go. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. Merry, merry king of the bush is he. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh. Kookaburra gay your life must be. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, eating all the gumdrops that he can see. Stop, Kookaburra, stop. Kookaburra, leave some there for me. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, chasing all the monkeys monkeys that he can see. Stop, Kookaburra, stop, Kookaburra, that's not a monkey, that's me. Kookaburra sits on a rusty nail, gets a boo-boo on his tail. Cry, Kookaburra, cry, Kookaburra, oh how life can be. Kookaburra sits in a old gum tree, merry, merry boy of the bush is he. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh, Kookaburra, gay your life must be. Okay. Survived week 1 of Intro to Ukulele. I taught you how, theoretically, taught you how to play melody from tablature, taught you a handful of chords, give you a little bit of ideas on how to strum songs and how to sing along. That's an important part of what we do. Starting next week, we dive heavy duty into chord melody. So next week is Spaghetti Monster, Three Blind Mice, Brahms Lullaby, Yankee Doodle. Those are all foundational songs to get your chord melody playing together. So we take what you've learned from picking individual melodies, add the chords to those, and we end up with some really nice sounding tunes. And so next week is when you become a finger style baritone ukulele player. So yeah, lots of stuff going on. It's really, really beautiful instrument you guys are working on, and just a whole lot of stuff, right? So we've got a little bit of everything going on, and next week we dial into, boy, putting it all together. Okay, it's a great full lesson. There's a long lesson, too much stuff for 1 week, I think, but hopefully you're mostly settling in, guys. If you have questions or whatever, obviously send me an email. I am way behind on emails, but I do appreciate it when you send me, let me know what's going on with you, and that's that. So off we go to the weekend. Do good, be safe. Right, some of you are in easier places to be safe than others. Practice a little bit, get this stuff out over the weekend, pull it out and mess around with it, and then keep showing up here, because I don't know anywhere else baritone players are going to get their love, and they're going to get it from me because I love this instrument. And then keep showing up, subscribe and like. And that's what I know. You guys, I'm going to go play some guitar with some guys, and then I will see you all on Monday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. We're supposed to theoretically get a tiny bit of rain here in Denver this weekend. That's they're saying Sunday we might have some decent weather. It's been really hot around here last week, so we could use a break. All right, guys. Let's see. Cindy wrote fun song. Will we get songs that are more difficult songs next week are going to be you are going to get more difficult songs every week. The difficult songs next week will be from the we'll be doing an Irish song, or let's call it a Celtic song, probably Danny Boy, probably. I'm going to look and see which ones are not brutally difficult to play, but maybe Whiskey in the Jar, maybe Danny Boy. Last Rose of Summer and Minstrel Boy are stunningly beautiful songs, but I'll pick one of the Celtic songs from the Irish, Scotland, and Wales group, and then you'll be getting from the Italian group, we're going to play Santa Lucia. So Santa Lucia is another one of those songs that's just really hard to make it sound bad. So those will be your 2 advanced level songs. I'm working on Moonglow, Cindy. I thank you for continuously reminding me. I'm not forgetting you. It's just that I have other things that are, but yeah, we'll be working on that one as well. That's really a top level song, Cindy. So maybe we'll put it in as a ukulele piece. First, make you suffer. All right, Terry. Thanks for being here, bud. Michelina, awesome possum. You have a wonderful weekend, Michelina. Lanny, good to see you, boss. And Cindy, you and your Moonglow. I'll get Moonglow done. I'll work on it. I will. I promise. All right, someday. All right, guys. Valerie, another great week. We survived. Okay. I'll see y'all on Monday. See all y'all on Monday.